Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Tokenicer, and I'm here to bring you guys in-depth news, analysis, and insights from the crypto asset space, along with covering the progressive tokenization of the world. So in today's episode, I'm bringing you guys another trips around the token economy. This is where we go on long drives and discuss everything from market behavior, project fundamentals, updates, and a whole bunch more. And in this episode, we had a nice update of some of the projects we usually talk about, such as Quant, AllianceBlock, Constellation, Vector Space AI, etc. Along with a market update in regards to what's been going on all around the world of crypto right now and how I've personally been navigating through it. And as always, before we start, I just gotta remind you guys that nothing you ever hear or read from me is ever any form of financial or investment advice. But now that we got that out of the way, let's get right into it. Alright, what's up everyone? We're back with another episode of Trips Around the Token Economy. Today is some day in the middle of July. I want to say it's like July 14th. I don't think it's July 14th. I think it's the 13th, but anyways, so little update since the last time we've talked. The market is still kind of stuck in this same range of between 18 to 22,000, and it's been pretty boring. Well, depending how you're looking at it, it's been pretty boring. Now is probably the best time to be accumulating altcoins and strong utility projects, because when Bitcoin draws down, alts tend to fall down even harder because people are risking off, right? And especially if the market downturn is due to macro environments. So like what's happening right now. I mean, today we just got reports of inflation spiking up to 9.1%, which is fairly concerning. And then there's also other macro and geopolitical issues around the world that are kind of going on. So of course we still have the supply chain shortage and kind of issues around the supply chain, inventory issues. Of course, the sanctions going on in Russia, and then just overall, kind of people risking off with the talks of quantitative tightening and rate hikes, which rate hikes have clearly been evident. There hasn't been too many sites of real quantitative tightening yet, which is actually something I'm kind of concerned about, because if we're seeing this much panic when there's quantitative tightening that's being talked about, God knows how it's going to look when it actually happens. And who knows, maybe this kind of fear and bearish sentiment is pricing it in already, but we'll have to see if that's the case or if we have further down to go. Most times when we do bottom in crypto, there does tend to be a pretty violent bounce back upwards, like we saw with the COVID crash. That wasn't quite the case with falling down to 18,000 or so. And I mean, a large part of this is just the cascade of over leverages and liquidations, like we've seen with BlockFi, Celsius, Voyager, even Luna was Luna was actually kind of what started all this. So yeah, Do Kwon really fucked us over. If he hadn't called all those traders poor and had them all decide to short Luna and UST, maybe we wouldn't be in as bad of a situation right now. But who knows? That's a big what if scenario. Now, regarding more relevant news, so CPI did come out at 9.1, or inflation did come out to 9.1% earlier today, and we kind of saw a sort of, bearish sentiment across the board, and Bitcoin had lost, I can't remember, I think it was like $10 billion in market cap within like a couple hours, which is pretty significant given how kind of poorly the market is already doing right now. Now, that's a lot of technicals. My job here, as you guys know, is largely fundamentals. I do cover some macro charts here and there, but you know, the way I look at charts is a lot more like looking at the chart to get the full story out of something rather than technical analysis. That, of course, is I look to Brian for that at Terra Moon Ventures. So, of course, if you guys want the best of both worlds, technicals and fundamentals combined together, check out Terra Moon Ventures. Link will, as always, be down in the description below, along with my discount code Tokenicer for 25% off. But yeah, so let's get on to fundamentals. So regarding project fundamentals, you know, this is around that time in the market where many projects stop developing and start folding. And large reason for that is, of course, because there's just not the money there, and also people just don't want to build if there's not that larger incentive. They'd rather go somewhere else where you can make more money and build in that industry. So we're probably going to start seeing more of that. The projects that'll survive will be the ones that have stood the test of time, or have built these core infrastructure connections to where they can't really just let the project die. So, for example, things like Quant, where we're seeing adoption and development in ODAP, in its white labeling services from these potential leads we found, and of course, their work with other central banks and CBDC projects. So it's unlikely we see something like that die when there's that much core infrastructure connection. And then, of course, things like Bitcoin, ETH, those things have stood the test of time. It'll be interesting to see how this plethora of layer ones survive, and which ones do survive, because we've seen a couple of these getting kind of shaky. The big Sol Luna AVAX, that was kind of you know, the trend of the most recent bull run. People saw huge returns on those assets, and well, those have not quite been doing too well. So on a fundamental scale, but also on technicals too, they haven't been doing too well. Oh geez. Yeah, so on a fundamental scale, you know, I don't think I need to speak too much on Luna, but as for AVAX, we had heard what happened to Three Arrows Capital, right? They were longing at something like 27,000, and they couldn't meet the margin, so they're pretty much going insolvent right now, which they actually held a very large stake, a very significant stake in Avalanche, AVAX, along with Luna. Like, I think they invested something like 70-something million into Luna. It could have been something more, but I can't remember the exact dollar amount that they had invested, but it's something like $500 right now. So that goes to show you, literally anything can go to zero. But yeah, so AVAX it got hit pretty hard because of the 3AC kind of issue, and then Solana, we heard, well, we haven't heard, we keep seeing them just shutting down again and again. Like, I think we're over 10 times on the year now, which is pretty ridiculous. And I know a lot of Solmaxes are saying, oh, it's testnet. Well, if your testnet is shutting down this much, is that a very good look for the future of your mainnet? Probably not. And of course, there was that whole issue with something about the validators controlling a certain amount of Solana or something. I can't remember what exactly that was, but I remember that was it was a very centralized move. That's what I'll put it at. So yeah, these layer 1s, it'll be interesting to see which ones make it out of the storm, because you know, the really hyped ones like Soluna AVAX, they haven't been doing too well fundamentally or technically, but like, who has been doing well on technicals? I guess actually there's this one coin that has been doing pretty well on the technical end as of the past couple days, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But back to layer 1s, we've seen a lot of these other layer 1s come out too, right? Like, we've seen Aleph0, which is one of these newer layer 1 blockchains, and I actually really like what they're doing. Their team is very smart and legitimate. Their CEO actually has some very close works with IBM and helping them build out this one specific project. I can't remember it off the top of my head right now, but it's somewhere in the mind maps. Oh, Jesus, that's a cop. That's a cop. Slow down. Ooh. Okay, we're chilling. Damn cops. Always hiding and shit. But yeah, so there's Aleph0, there's Casper. Casper has been seeing collaborations and work with the World Economic Forum in addition to Hyperledger. And as we always say, connections, right? Those are some very good connections to have as a layer 1 platform. And then, of course, there's other sort of newer layer 1s, or not like ridiculously new ones, but these, I want to say, second, third generation ones. So your things like Hedera Hashgraph, Algorand, and even like Cardano and Zinfin Network. So these are ones that are kind of, I don't want to say they're newer, but they're a little different in the sense that they do have far more connections than just, you know, a huge VC backing, like how Soluna and AVAX all were kind of running on. Just VC big capital. That's kind of what the key factor for them was. And I've said this before, but that is not the way you should be looking to invest, because with VCs, the way they invest is they know that probably 90% of their investments will die, just like most of the crypto market. But guess what? They only need one investment to pop off, and they're in massive profits, even like accounting for the losses from these other projects that they had invested in. And so we probably shouldn't be looking to like monkey see, monkey do, essentially. That's what a lot of people were doing. Like, oh, 3AC is buying AVAX, I'm going to buy AVAX. Or like Alameda Capital is stacking up on Solana, so I'm going to stack up on Solana. Because, well, we don't really have the ability to diversify to the level that these venture capitalist firms and hedge funds do. Alright, so I have arrived at my delivery, so I will be back in just a second. Hope you guys are enjoying this, and yeah, peace. Alright guys, we're back. So what were we talking about? I think we were talking about, I'm gonna be honest, I forgot what we were talking about. I think we were talking about layer 1s. So I think we were talking about things like Soluna and AVAX, and then, oh right, we were talking about how VCs invested versus how other crypto startups would invest. So, or not other crypto startups, but retail like us. Because it is pretty different. You know, just because VC believes in it does not mean it's going to succeed. I don't know what made people think that was the largest factor in a crypto network's success. It's I guess people think people associate knowledge with wealth, and there a lot of times there are what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of times there is correlation between the two, but it's not always certain. And of course, you should always do your own research regardless, even after seeing what the big VCs are invested in. Because, just look at Luna. Luna was insanely VC-backed. So there should have been smart people investing in it, right? But look what the fuck happened to it. Clearly, they didn't see this. Or they thought that, it could have been a psychological game where one VC invested in it and they saw this issue, but they were like, it's unlikely to happen. And then another VC was like, okay, well, if this one VC oversaw this issue, then maybe it's not as big of an issue as we're thinking. So they invest in it too. And then it's kind of like this whole game theory of other venture capital firms overlooking a systemic underlying issue. Now, we were also talking about other layer 1s such as these other ones like XDC, HBAR, Algorand, etc. These ones that are more ingrained within. And when I'm talking about these layer 1s, I'm just talking about smart contract smart contract layer 1s. So I'm not really going to be mentioning like XLM, XRP, just because those are more of a they're not meant. They weren't initially built to be smart contract platforms per se. So those are some of the more connected to core legacy infrastructure layer 1s. XDC, of course, working closely with the ITFA, and HBAR, well, their governance board, of course, and then obviously all the other applications being built on there, some done so by their governance council. And Algorand, working, it was founded out of MIT, and they're, of course, connected not just to ISO, but also a lot of other applications being built at the moment. So Algorand is seeing a fair amount of adoption in terms of real use case. And since we touched up on Zinfin, I had read a little something. Apologies for the broad vagueness of this, but I am driving at the moment, so this is just everything I'm saying is just off the top of my head. So there are going to be points where things are a little vague because I do not have a photogenic memory, unfortunately. But so there was a proposal to switch Zinfin from delegated proof of stake, which is what it's running on at the moment, to regular proof of stake, which there's been some controversy around because it essentially centralizes the whole system that much more, making it, enriching the richer that much more. So that's usually not what you want in crypto protocols. I know a lot of the investments we talk about do already somewhat go against the points of decentralization and equality, but I think most of the networks we talk about, to a certain extent, still do kind of include that level of equality and equal playing field, and having a distributed network for all. So seeing Zinfin's proposed to switch to this was a bit of a shocker and a questionable move. But crazy shit happens in the bear market all the time. And as for crazy shit in the bear market, WadzPay. I don't know if we've touched up on this recently, but as you guys know, I had wrote an article on WadzPay a while back, and I was talking about it a bit on some of my content platforms. it's a pretty interesting project. And why aren't you fucking going? What are you doing? Bro, what the fuck are you doing? Turn. Nothing is stopping you from turning. There was nothing fucking stopping you, my guy. What the fuck? Okay, back to WadzPay. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So WadzPay, it's a really interesting project. They're making a technology agnostic payment infrastructure, and pretty much the focus of it is to enable payments in digital assets, so cryptocurrencies and stablecoins, or regular legacy fiat railways. So like, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, those would be like legacy payments, and they'd obviously have their own kind of spin-off of that as a WadzPay version of that. And they'd also, of course, want to support CBDCs, which is where the future of finance lies. So it's a very future-proof and, just evergreen kind of protocol. And they had some really, really strong connections within that team. Like, I'm talking Swift, Visa, MasterCard, Fidelity. And, it was something I was kind of looking forward to start stacking a bit of, because they also do have partnerships with both Algorand and Zinfin, both very prominent Layer 1 projects. And so I was pretty excited to see further development of them. And recently they had announced that they were going to dilute the token supply by 4 times. And only reward users 2x their initial token amounts, which is kind of bullshit, because it's like, well, there should have been some transparency, some notice to the community about this. Like, there was no fucking update of this. It just kind of came out of nowhere. Like, boom, we are changing our tokenomics, and that's one of the risks to projects that aren't Bitcoin. It's that the tokenomics can change. A lot of us do say that Bitcoin is outdated technology and everything, but at the end of the day, that is probably the only project where the tokenomics won't be changing, at least in our lifetimes. Or that's what I see, at least. So, was a pretty shady move, in my opinion. And I know, well, obviously the community's upset with it. How can you not be? I had only put about like $100 into Watt. Oh, I got a new delivery. How much you paying me? $5? Fuck off, man. I'm not taking your delivery for $5, dude. Oh shit. Oh, turn the radio on there. Why am I not taking this delivery? The order is too small. Yeah, okay, so back to whatever I was saying. WadzPay, right. So it was kind of a shady move, and I personally probably won't be dollar cost averaging into WadzPay anymore. I got another order. Okay, things are picking up. Where's this one to? Dude, give me a fucking bigger order. I'm not taking shit for $5. Not in this fucking economy. Not when gas is this expensive. Fuck off. Whoops. Oh, I don't know what I clicked there. But anyways, so yeah, shady move by WadzPay. Community's not happy. I'm not happy. Team's probably happy because they get to dump more tokens. Now, as I said, Bitcoin is probably the only project where the tokenomics won't change like that. There's been other projects that have been talking about changing up their tokenomics, either for better or for worse. some are trying to add more utility to their tokens, while some are trying to find ways to further dilute the supply. So, it really depends, and we're really going to see projects start to show their true colors in this bear market, seeing which projects and teams are actually looking to build out transformational technology. $14. Let's do it. What is this? This isn't DoorDash alcohol order. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to be. Okay. Where were we? We were talking about, projects that are going to start folding, and some projects are going to start showing their true colors in the sense that they're not what they might have promised to be. Some might be rugs, some might be just kind of mediocre projects overall without much direction. Because, a lot of people have, I don't want to say people, but a lot of teams have formed together just for the purpose of making some money in crypto, because they know it's a very lucrative industry. So, we're about to see, we're already seeing which companies are kind of doing so and which ones are kind of caught with their hands in the cookie jar, like what we've seen with Celsius and them. Now, to add further onto WadzPay, it really taught me a lesson. Even though I had put very minimal amounts of money in there, I did write an article on it, and I pray to God people didn't get burnt on WadzPay because they read my article and thought it was a good. Well, I don't want to say it's not a good, because it is still a good project. Like, what WadzPay is building is a very cool solution, but the way they did their tokenomic update is just dirty, and there's a difference between a good investment and a good project. WadzPay seems like a great project, but as an investment, after what we had just seen, I'm not so sure. Again, none of this is financial or investment advice, but this is just kind of how I'm seeing it. And then obviously just kind of on an ethical scale. That's not really what you want to see. This plane's about to take it. No, it's not. What WadzPay really taught me was that beyond just we already went over that. It's a good project, right? Like, what they're building is a pretty solid solution in the payments industry. What's not solid is the team's kind of morals, ethics, and transparency. So what I really learned from WadzPay is, beyond just having a great team with great connections, you actually you need to kind of know to a certain extent, there are people that are actually building for the purpose of building and not just trying to get rich quick. And WadzPay really taught me that, because their team, when I first saw it, I was absolutely blown away. I was like, I haven't seen something this great since Quant, like on a team's connection scale. So to see them do that was quite a shocker personally for me, and I know for many others as well. But hey, WadzPay is going to Sybos this year, so good for them. Sybos is Swift Interbanking Operations Seminar, and that's a very high-level fintech event that only the biggest names in fintech with connections to Swift get to go to. So seeing WadzPay there kind of shows that they are a legitimate project. It's just their business behavior is rather shady, and I'm not really here for that. I have my $100 in WadzPay. Well, it's definitely not $100 now, but I have however amount of WadzPay that I had put in. I guess just some play money, really, and we'll see where it goes. Anyways, I am at the next restaurant to pick up a delivery, so I'll catch you guys in a moment. Peace. Alright guys, we're back. This delivery we're taking seems to be a 22-minute drive, so I guess we'll have quite the nice conversation on our way to this delivery. I kind of regret taking this order. They are paying me a fair bit. Well, I don't want to say a fair bit, but like for a delivery, relative to a delivery, they're paying me $15 for this delivery, and it's 22 minutes. I guess that's not terrible, but you know, gas is not looking pretty at the moment. It's kind of sad. For last year, I got destroyed in ETH gas fees, and now I'm getting killed by gas, or well, paying for gas in real life. If you're gonna cross. You're not fucking crossing, are you? Dude, too fucking late. You should have crossed earlier. Stupid. Alright, anyways, what were we going on about? Right, we were talking about the lack of transparency with WadzPay. So, that will be unfortunate, or that's quite unfortunate. You know, still wish the best for them. Hope they manage to build out a successful agnostic payments railway. But I personally probably won't be adding any more WTK tokens for the time being. And so yeah. As for other crypto networks that I'm looking at this bear market, things that I'm really looking to research are really connections to these non-government organizations, so like the World Economic Forum, the International Money Fund, the International Monetary Fund, etc. Those are kind of those core connections we talk about, and then also to large Fortune 500 fintechs, right? Or like, I guess they're more NASDAQ companies than Fortune. Well, we'll keep it at Fortune 500 because some of these companies are beyond tech. Like, we know Walmart has worked with Hyperledger. And, you know, it's good to see those connections in the oh my god. It's important to see those connections and realize that your crypto network isn't siloed off from everything else and just its own ecosystem, or, well, its own island, if you will, that's siloed off from everything, because then you're not really building a solution. You're building more problems. Well, I guess you're building some solutions, but they can't be integrated to legacy, or like the legacy economy. What's the point, right? Like, one of the biggest attractive points for AllianceBlock, for example, is the fact that they're working with multiple fintech accelerators in Europe, in addition to, of course, the London Stock Exchange, which is probably the most fitting partnership for them, honestly, seeing that they're working with a stock exchange when they're trying to be this new future of finance. Well, not future of finance, but the bridge towards the future of finance. So it'll be exciting to see how AllianceBlock connects with all this. And of course, Rashid has come out saying that they will be using Overledger for certain parts of that. Just really exciting, because this isn't even just one vertical of Quant's kind of scale in all of finance, but this is just one part of it. And that's connecting AllianceBlock's products to the London Stock Exchange so that their institutional clients have the freedom to use them if they choose to. Which is pretty crazy, because when you think London Stock Exchange and think their clients, these are probably massive clients. Like, billions in assets under management, or, well, multi-billions, tens of billions at the very least in assets under management, probably. So to see guys of that scale that will be transacting through Overledger to access the AllianceBlock platform via the London Stock Exchange. That is pretty exciting for me to see. And then as for I don't know how we got to AllianceBlock. Oh right, core legacy connections, right. No, as for content wise, I have been working on the Quant deep dive and putting it together. It probably should have been out by now, but there was a pretty unfortunate case that happened earlier this week, and it did slow me down a bit. I ended up hurting my wrist kind of badly from playing basketball, and we almost went headfirst into a basketball post, so that would not have been fun. I don't know if I'd be here talking with you guys if that had happened. So yeah, was pretty scary, falling headfirst onto hard concrete. That wasn't fun. Luckily I did save myself with my hands, but because of that we're having some trouble moving it around. It is getting a bit better, but I did not think it would hinder my ability to edit videos. I was very shocked. I was like, damn, it's kind of hurting to cut these video clips. And yeah, the whole time I was like, you could push through it. You can push through it, but I think it made it worse over the first 2 days. So I was just like, okay, well, I'll just give it some time to recover. So Quant Deep Dive is, I want to say 60% done. It's fully recorded and everything. We just got to edit and put everything together. And yeah, after that is the AllianceBlock Deep Dive, of course. That is another partner of Quant, and a project that I'm really excited to deep dive, because we've made content on AllianceBlock prior to this on multiple occasions, articles, podcasts, and videos, but we have done a deep dive into their products on a Medium article, but I figured why not make a video out of what AllianceBlock really does and their core connections into, well, a video. Because AllianceBlock is a pretty interesting project. They're not quite just a single protocol, but they're more so a, like, okay, so this is the way I'm kind of seeing it. If you see something like Uniswap or so let's use a Uniswap, an Aave, a Compound. Let's say these are different parts of a playground. Like, let's say Uniswap is the swing set, and then say Compound is the slide, and maybe Compound are the monkey bars. Well, AllianceBlock is the complete playground set and more. It's like a playground set with an arcade. And I know that's kind of a weird analogy, so kind of what I'm saying with that is AllianceBlock is the full package. It has all of DeFi together, and it's rolled into a single product, so it's really your all-in-one one-stop shop for all things DeFi. Whether that be staking, liquidity providing, or just, using a DEX. AllianceBlock has that for you. Or, maybe you want to raise money for your startup fund in a peer-to-peer manner, but still be compliant. AllianceBlock has that. Maybe you want to trade your on-chain data on the AllianceBlock platform. You can do that through AllianceBlock. So it's really an all-in-one, one-stop shop, and that's why I say it's like a playground with an arcade. And the arcade side would be your other things that aren't so DeFi, but still kind of related to the AllianceBlock network or their ecosystem, which would be things like their data tunnel, their data quasar, which pretty much works to enrich data that's feeded into the AllianceBlock ecosystem from their plethora of oracles. So yeah, really excited to break down AllianceBlock even further and explain its really vast operations to you guys. My God, traffic does not look good right now. That ain't good. So the way we're going into, there's another route I could have taken. No. Oh, I screwed myself over. gonna be sitting here for a minute. But okay, so yeah, AllianceBlock deep dive. I also plan to start some coverage on some of these other networks that I haven't quite talked as much about yet. So as we're talking about like Casper and what's that other one? What's that other layer one? Shit, Casper and LF0. Those are two that I've been looking into a fair bit. LF0 seems pretty interesting at the moment. I haven't really looked into the tokenomics, or I've looked into the tokenomics a bit, but it's not to the point where everything's just memorized. Like with Quant, I can tell you just off the top of my head, total supply is 14.67 million. And or like AllianceBlock and Unizen, their total supply is 1 billion. LCX is 955 million. Constellations is 3.5 billion. Like, I've memorized those, but LF0 is not quite at that level for me yet. That's not to say they're inferior. It's just they're a newer network, and I haven't had the time to look that deep into them yet. But that is on my short list, along with Casper. And I do also plan to put a XDC breakdown on my YouTube. Well, let's see what they do first. If they switch to proof of stake, there might be some controversy, and I'll probably see what the direction for XDC is looking like once that happens, before I really put that breakdown together. Just because, you know, we're kind of in uncertain times at the moment, and this was kind of a unforeseen move from XDC. Like, it was already, I don't want to say super centralized, but the difficulty in getting a master node was already hard enough for most people. Like, it's pretty out of reach for most investors to grab an XDC master node. And so that already kind of somewhat limits the decentralization of it. And to see it switch to proof of stake would really kind of enrich the rich that much more, so to speak. So hopefully that vote does not go through. But as for what else am I looking at, really? That's what I've been looking at. I've been really reading just into not as much direct crypto networks, but things that might tie into crypto. So of course macroeconomics will always be up there. That I feel like anyone who's largely in not just crypto but the world of finance and investments, I think it's very important to look at macroeconomics and understand a lot of these macro factors that are kind of driving the direction of the market and where kind of sentiment is basing from. Something else I've done recently since we've last spoke is contribute and collaborate with the Lighthouse Report. Now, the Lighthouse Report is a monthly report by Genfinity, which is ran by XRP Owl, which I'm sure many of you guys know, King Solomon. He does, well, he covers a wide range of content, but especially within the XRP community and also the Hedera Hashgraph community. So what we're doing there is creating a monthly report. So there's, it's kind of a conglomerate of crypto researchers in this space. So there's, of course, XRP Owl, there's Crypto Eddie, Citizens of the Future, there's Jeremy Hogan, who's actually a lawyer, and holy shit, what is happening? Okay, that was weird. Yeah, so it's a bunch of researchers in the space, and people that are kind of more on the side that we're on, where we're very utility focused and focused on kind of the industry adoption of crypto and DLT, rather than kind of this very utopian decentralized approach that we see from a lot of Bitcoin maximalists. So personally, my part there is it's divided into certain sections. So there's like market adoption, which is covered by XRP Owl, and that's just showing like month by month the adoption that's happening and kind of an overview of the adoption of DLT protocols or just certain permission private networks. And then there's also a kind of DeFi and DeFi markets update. So this would be things that are more focused on kind of the role and state of decentralized finance at a certain given time, and just talks about certain DeFi protocols. And then there's the grid. The grid is handled by Citizens, and that is a deep dive into trade finance and connections. And then I'm doing the rabbit hole deep dive. So the rabbit hole is there's two parts of the rabbit hole. So there's a macro rabbit hole, which is done by XRP Darren, and then there's the utility rabbit hole, which is done by yours truly. And it's what it sounds like it is. It's a rabbit hole. So it's kind of adding onto connections similar to what Citizens is doing. Oh, that sounded kind of weird. But yeah, it'll be adding onto connections kind of like what Citizens is doing, but it's also more of kind of going down the rabbit hole, seeing what's really happening behind the scenes in the space that might not be detectable to the naked eye for a multitude of reasons, because information is so widespread around the place that it's hard to gather it all together, and many people don't put the time to gather it together. Or maybe it's just that it's some undetectable kind of content. So like, for example, if you showed an average person some of these BIS documents, Bank for International Settlements, and talked about why Quant is related because of the talks of API gateways and ODAP, most people think you're crazy, and they're like, that is the biggest stretch I've ever seen. But if you are kind of if you're well versed in the Quant ecosystem, you'll see it. You'll understand that there isn't another open standard for interoperability that involves APIs aside from ODAP, because if there was, well, it hasn't been heard of yet, and that completely counters its point at being an open standard. An open standard means you are working with other entities out there to have this standard adopted. And so it takes that extra level of understanding to really connect those dots and really understand the extent of some of these rabbit holes. And so that'll be kind of my job at doing the utility side of it. XRP Darren's side of the rabbit hole is more macro fundamentals, so kind of things like CPI, price of certain goods and commodities, inflation rate, mortgage rates, etc. So that's something I look really forward to continue working alongside these other researchers with. I think it's again, maybe I sound a bit biased because I'm working with these guys, but it's something that I think is a really great solution for research purposes, because a lot of people really don't have the time to deep dive and do all this stuff. Hell, I mean, like, I'm spending probably like 10 hours a day researching. Well, 8 to 10 hours a day researching, like the amount of a full-time job, and then that's not even including editing and putting content together. And it does get somewhat overwhelming at times, and especially if you're a beginner and stuff, to really like put stuff together and understand it. Like, I can understand why that gets overwhelming for a lot of people, and it might be kind of hard to understand where to get started. So kind of what we're doing is saying like, hey, you want to understand and invest in the crypto markets, and obviously we don't give financial advice there, but we give research and educational information. So kind of what we are offering is saying, okay, well, we understand that a lot of people can't or don't have the time to do large, extensive research, because we're covering like DeFi, industry adoption, trade finance, law, etc. So we really, dude, where the fuck is this house? Did I miss it? What the fuck? Oh my god. Why are you so fucking bad, Google Maps? Why are you so fucking bad? terrible. Like, Google Maps sucks. They always find a way to mess up. These guys have told me to U-turn on the highway before. Like, they want me dead. But, back on point. So, it really makes for a much more time efficient and easily organized kind of research for those people that either don't have the time to do it, or maybe they, it's not in their best interest to spend hours reading documents, and that is perfectly understandable. I don't think most people, especially now on a nice summer day, I don't think most people want to spend hours on end reading documents upon documents. That's normally not how people want to be spending their summer days. So why not let us do that for you and present it in a nice monthly report covering all areas of the crypto market. So that's kind of like a gist of what the Lighthouse Report is. The first edition actually has already released at the start of this month on July 1st, and it was pretty exciting to see, and that one was actually free for anyone to sign up, subscribe, and read and kind of get a sneak peek into what we'll be offering every month. These future ones will be paid content just because, we do put a fair amount of work into this. It's not just articles, but we're putting videos and stuff in there too to really break it down and kind of connect with the community that much more with a voice. So, I think, come on, what are you doing, man? The price point is set at $30 a month as of now, and I'd argue that is fairly reasonably priced for what we're offering. $30 a month. That's the price of a large amount of subscriptions, and, you're getting more than, let's say, so minimum wage is $15 an hour, right? I think it's around 15 an hour. It's 15 something here in Canada. But, so 15 times 2 is 30, right? So in your normal first world country, you work 2 hours and you have enough to pay for your monthly subscription of the Lighthouse Report, which I believe comes with much more than just 2 hours of research and not just for myself, but from 8+ other contributors to this. So I do think it is fairly valued, and a pretty good value for what we provide. And as I always say, knowledge is priceless. Knowledge stays with you forever. It's, personally to me, one of the best investments you can make in yourself, because regardless of what happens, like, let's say you invest in your health, if you get hurt somehow, that kind of takes away from the whole investment in your health. Or let's say you get hit with really bad illness. Dude, where the fuck is this? What the hell? Okay. Man, I got no idea where I am right now. I am out in the boonies. Alright, so where is this place? 627. That's 603. That is 606, 609. It's not in here, is it? Oh my god. 614. What am I looking for? 627? 627. 623 is here. 616. 625. Man, please go. Oh my god. You're gonna drive on their grass, man. Oh, okay then. I guess, yeah, we could do that. Alright, anyways, I have arrived for my delivery, so, I'll catch you guys in a moment real quick, right after I'm back. yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying the conversation and getting some alpha out of this. Anyways, peace. Actually, their door is right here. I'll just leave the recording on, I guess. Alright guys, we are back. We just did a delivery out here in the boonies. And I'm trying to find my way back into the city now because I actually don't really know where we are right now. And there's no service out here, so that's extra unfortunate. We might be driving around trying to find our way for the next little bit. Oh, there, perfect. I got some service. Get me back into town. Thank you. But where were we? So we were talking about I got no idea what we were talking about, honestly. I want to say we were talking about projects and connections. That's something we talk a lot about, right? I don't know what the fuck? What? What do you mean? Resume my DoorDash. Not my fault I had no service. Okay, let's talk about oh, we were talking about the Lighthouse Report, right? So yeah, we were talking about how, you know, knowledge is something people can't take away from you. Like with health, you can still get hurt, you can still have a very bad illness, and that is detriment to your health. Now that's not to say not to invest in your health and not to take care of yourself. I think your physical health is probably one of the most important things, because it doesn't matter if you have all the money in the world, but if you are very sick and unhealthy, you can't enjoy the luxury of, well, wealth, right? You can't just be wealthy in your pockets, but you need to have wealth mentally, physically, financially, and spiritually. And of course, just you want every aspect of your life to have wealth. You want an abundance of, well, people that are valuable to your life, right? And you want because you want a strong circle of people that are supportive and have somewhat of a similar goal to you and a similar vision. You know, a lot of people are okay with just being mediocre and getting by life, and there's nothing wrong with that. But personally, I think, I don't know. We only get one life, right? So why not make the most of that? Now, enough motivation talk. You guys probably hear that enough in a bear market on crypto Twitter, because that's all crypto Twitter is nowadays. It's inspiration and motivational quotes to keep going. On a side note, something completely unrelated to what I normally talk about, I did see this one guy who had listed their NFT, and apparently the devs had burnt their NFT or something, which, that's terrible. I mean, what the fuck? Like, the comments were even worse, because they were like, yeah, that's what you get for not believing in the team. It's like, what? That is ridiculous. You know, that is about as centralized as it gets. You're being penalized for your decisions on your asset by the creators of the project. Come on, that screams centralization. Like, that is ridiculous. So, you know, it's, personally for me, that was disgusting to see, and I don't think we should be having that in these markets. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, someone shouldn't have lost their asset because they chose to sell it. Like, well, I guess that was worded terribly, because obviously you lose the asset when you sell it. But I mean, they shouldn't have their asset burnt and left with nothing just because they chose to sell it. It's up to the investor, isn't it? So yeah. And as many of you guys know, I'm not a huge NFT guy or anything. Like, I've said it before, but I think NFTs show amazing use cases, especially down the line in the future when we potentially see things like NFTs as identities, licenses, passports, health records. NFTs have a ton of potential. Bills of lading, and etc. But you know what? Profile pics is not the end-all be-all for NFTs. Digital art is not the end-all be-all for NFTs. NFTs is simply a tokenized asset that's one of one and verifiable, traceable on a blockchain. And that has a lot of potential for other innovations that we'll see down the line. But yeah, that's kind of what I had to say for NFTs. Do I believe some of these NFTs will still survive? Yeah, I do. I think a very small amount of them will still survive because of NFTs are different from tokens. You guys have to keep in mind they are a lot more community focused than these tokens are. Like for example, if let's say this project XYZ has a token and they have a very strong community behind it, very strong. That does not equate to value go up, and that does not equate to project success. Versus NFTs, where if a project has a stronger community, their chances of success are all that much higher, because NFTs are kind of different in that sense, where it's very community driven and its use cases are, well, not use cases, but the recognition of an NFT and its kind of network effect is revolved around that community rather than what the protocol does, which is kind of what these tokens are, right? So, of course, there are some outliers, such as like Dogecoin and Shiba Inu. Well, no, even then, I think a large part of that is based on kind of the demand for the network, in a sense. It's just sometimes, especially earlier on in the kind of maturity stages of this market, we're going to see some weird stuff like Dogecoin pumping to 70 cents. So anyways, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about with NFTs for the most part. I personally haven't really picked up any NFTs. I think we're going to see more industry use cases for NFTs in the coming years as more real development starts happening. It's just, as of now, I'm not too sure about how NFTs are at the moment. I get some of these do have utility and use cases, but a lot of these are also securities, because there's not much besides a promise of the value of these NFTs going up and the value rising so due to an investment in a common enterprise to build for the success of that NFT project, which under the Howey test unfortunately does state it's a security. And oh wow, $10 order, let me take it. Taco time, let's fucking go. Return to my dash. Dude, how do I get there? Alright, perfect. So yeah, NFTs will have their use cases, just that profile pictures may not be the best use case for NFTs at the moment. I think that's just one vertical of what NFTs could be. I get that because there is that community aspect that NFTs do kind of seem more focused on profile pictures and digital art at the moment, because that's kind of where communities revolve around. But think beyond art like that, but think of art like music. That is a certain kind of fine art. And just overall entertainment. Oh, fuck, I went the wrong way. Thanks, Google Maps. Thanks, Google Maps. You could not have given me a more vague fucking direction. Fuck you guys. Not you guys, but Google. I love you guys. But yeah, so, kind of switch up the topic a little bit and talk about, dude, where do you want me to go? Jeez, make up a damn decision. Damn, app is sorry as fuck. Well, before we move from NFTs, I do think we'll see a lot of entertainment industries begin building in NFT. Well, a lot of companies that are in the entertainment industry begin to build their operations and scale out via NFTs. I think we're going to see more of that happening, and I think that is bullish for the space overall, and that'll create a lot of room for collaborations between kind of the legacy markets in kind of crypto, well, the legacy markets in things like, you know, your Disney, your Marvel, what else is like a big entertainment thing? NBA, MLB, NFL, UFC. I don't know what the poker league is, but I think there's a league for poker, right? Not a big gambling guy, but yeah, those things. I think we'll see a lot of NFTs revolved around those, and I think anime is, I think, a one certain industry where I really think NFTs will just absolutely change, because let's take an anime character, for example. Let's take Goku. Goku realistically has no fungible value to it. It's not a franchise, but it is a character from a very large franchise, from Dragon Ball, right? But we cannot deny the fact that the name Goku has immense value to it. The whole concept of Dragon Ball overall, and everything about it, I mean, I'm sure Dragon Ball has generated insane amounts of revenue over the past couple of years. Past couple of decades. What am I saying? Past couple of years? Dragon Ball is older than I am. It's like 10 years older than I am. So, yeah. But my point is that these characters in certain animes, in movies, in cartoons, TV shows, they hold value to them. There is a value that these communities hold intrinsically to these characters, and right now it's not able to be displayed in form of value at the moment, because I mean, it's kind of hard to do so, right? But eventually I think we are going to see things like that, like maybe you know, an exclusive fight between Goku and another anime character. How sick would it be to own the actual IP rights to that individual fight, that clip? You know, I really think that there's going to be value laying in stuff like that, and just overall, man, which way do you want me to go? What the fuck? That is the latest. Oh my god. Why can't you tell me to switch lanes earlier? They're actually trying to kill me. Jesus, this is right. But yeah, so, you know, things like franchises, and especially characters within franchises, I think we're really going to see a lot of value flow into those kind of things. And of course, Goku is just one example of this. You can take characters from other franchises and stuff. Mickey Mouse, you know, even athletes and celebrities. We've seen this, actually. So like Spencer Dinwiddie, for example. He's a... extra. Yeah, sure, I'll add this to my order. Or my route. But why are you going so slow? It's a fucking highway. You're going 20 below speed limit and no one is fucking in front of you. Go! But, yeah, what was I saying? Okay, I can't fucking stand you. I don't get why you go so slow. So, yeah, I think, the overall value and, well, the non-fungible value at the moment within, these franchises and characters are, you know, it's pretty crazy, because, let's take a professional athlete now. Let's take Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan has a net worth of $1 billion, and beyond just his net worth, the name Michael Jordan has value to it. There's the shoes Air Jordans, and then there's other kind of subsidiaries that Michael Jordan does kind of work within. Like, there's other Jordan products and movies that are relating to Michael Jordan. NBA clips that are highlights of Michael Jordan. And wouldn't it be cool if you could take part in that and kind of invest in the branding and name behind Michael Jordan? Well, we've seen kind of some of that with Dapper Labs and the NBA Top Shots, but I think that was just a very small sample size of what's to come in the future. I think Top Shots did kind of, you know, hype and excite things up for a little bit and have people kind of realize, like, oh shit, like, there's, like, it's unlocking value pretty much. And I mean, while you could argue it's kind of in a sense similar to gambling, what's the difference between that and someone buying up a piece of art that they like? Like, for example, there are certain clips of there are two of my favorite basketball players, Stephen Curry and Kobe Bryant. There are definitely clips and moments of those two NBA players that I would love to have as an NFT in my wallet and have it displayed on, let's say, I don't know, a Web3 social platform. Because how cool would it be? Now you can check out someone's profile, and based on someone's NFTs, you can be like, okay, they are a fan of skateboarding, and they're also into, they are studying medicine, and we can see that because one of their NFTs is a medical license. Those probably won't be displayed on a Web3 kind of social platform, actually. I feel like there might, well, I guess there's no real risk to that because, you know, on a blockchain you can't be stealing stuff. That's not possible unless you, I don't know, beat the guy up for their seed phrase. But that's kind of it's kind of out of the control of blockchains. You could say the same about someone's bank card or something. So why you just blocked off 3 cars, you clown. Man, why are you waiting for everyone before you go? You know you can go, right? It's a 4-way stop. But okay, so yeah, we've been going on for a while about NFTs, and I feel like that was probably one of the longest times, or like the longest durations that I've ever talked about NFTs. Well, probably not. I've had like hours of conversations about the future potential of NFTs with some of the other people in this space and some other people around my circles, but it's not often I go that in depth about NFTs. But it is something I'm really excited for, and there's countless parts of NFTs on the more entertaining side, such as what we just talked about with characters and stuff, that I'm really excited to see the development of. But just for now, it is still kind of early. We have to keep in mind the overall concept of NFTs is still really, really in its infant stages. I mean, like, the concept of NFTs kind of started with CryptoKitties in the 2017 bull run from ETH. Pretty much crashing because of the demand of people trading CryptoKitties. But obviously since then we've seen a lot of evolution with things like OpenSea, and then kind of the Bored Ape Yacht Club community that we're seeing. And I think over time we're just going to see more and more of that, and more rapid adoption and development to it as the space kind of continues to grow in recognition and value. And of course the overall use cases that people are starting to see. But anyways, I am at my delivery destination, so I'll catch you guys in a minute. Peace. Alright guys, we're back. So currently we are probably doing one of our last deliveries for the day, I think, depending on how things go. So yeah, I don't really know where I'm going yet, but we're about to find out. So we're talking on NFTs just now. I kind of explained my stance on them in terms of, what I think of the future potential of NFTs. A lot of people's, most of retail just says NFTs are going to die. It's a fad. Do you guys notice a pattern? They said the same shit about, not even the internet. They said the same shit about telecommunications, telephones. And then they said the same shit about the internet. Then they said the same about, emails, which essentially are part of the internet, but it's, another small subset of it. It's kind of like how NFTs are to crypto. NFTs are kind of a part of crypto and DLT overall. Well, I should say crypto and blockchain. It's more crypto blockchain than crypto DLT. Then they also said the same shit about smartphones and stuff like iPods, which, has really taken over the world over the past couple of years. And then they've said the same stuff about crypto, but that's kind of lightened up a bit over the years as they've kind of seen, it's survived pretty much everything it's thrown, or they've thrown at crypto. And, they're saying the same thing about NFTs at the moment. So it is a recurring pattern. And why is that? It's because humans don't like change. We're naturally made to be comfortable, or we're naturally made. Our bodies instinctively, once we get comfortable, we don't want change. We fear change because then we have to adapt. And believe it or not, us humans are actually very good at adapting, but people don't like the thought of it. They don't like having to potentially go out of their comfort zone. So, because of that, every time there's big innovation, there's also a big fight against it. There's always a silly reason as to why, there's fear for a certain technology coming. But at the same time, that's how the human race continues to advance, right? Through innovation. And, to me, the scary thing is staying stagnated and never showing signs of improvement towards the development of our planet and the human race. I think that scares me more than, these potential risks that things might pose. We kind of have to face that there are going to be risks with integrating innovation and disruptions around kind of how we go about our daily lives. But at the same time, it's very important to also realize that those things are very essential to kind of not just the kind of forward push for the economy and everything with it, meaning financially, even politically, and mainstream media has taught most people to think. Now, as for kind of just talking about the general projects we discussed, so like Quant, DEG, Unizen, LCX, AllianceBlock, etc. I know we did touch up on some of these already, and in one of my most recent tea times, I actually did link it, or not link it, but we did a full breakdown of kind of recent update of some crypto projects, and just kind of like the last time we've talked about them, and then kind of just like a macroeconomic update. So we looked at some goods for commodities, and then we looked at how different markets across the world and their indexes were performing. So we looked at the Japanese stock exchange and their index, which is the Nikkei 250. I believe that's what it's called. And then we also looked at China stock market and their market index, which I think is the Shanghai Composite 256. And then we compare that to, of course, the S&P 500. And interestingly enough, just about every single stock market around the world is moving the exact same for the past, 3 years or so that we looked at. Exact same. So that's really interesting. That goes to show us that there's a lot more kind of these markets are more controlled by big macro and geopolitical shifts nowadays than really supply and demand is, and a lot of that is because of the fiscal policy since the 1980s, from cutting interest rates to quantitative easing, and kind of just the rich getting richer, so to speak. So yeah, we already talked on a bit of Quant, and we talked about some AllianceBlock. LCX update, there was a recent AMA with Monty Metzger, and he had said that staking would be coming out soon, which I think that's going to be really, it's something the community really has wanted, because it's just an extra incentive to hold the LCX token. So I think, it's good to see for overall the community satisfaction side of things overall, and I know that's not the first priority, and of course LCX has shown that with kind of the way they're kind of operating around their exchange, but it's nonetheless exciting for the community. And you can say what you want about staking and how there's some controversial takes on it, but at the end of the day, LCX, their main use case is an exchange token, so that will still remain as their main function. And then they've also been working, their iOS app also launched, which I know isn't, it's interesting news. It's not like something that's massive, but it's, pretty big. I'd say the majority of phones in the world would probably be iPhones, and it was already released on Android, so to see it finally on Apple now, or iPhone now, is definitely cool. I've already downloaded the app and set it up, so yeah, it makes it all that much more accessible, and of course as an exchange you kind of need that, but on the other hand, LCX is also playing in terms of this whole new regulated Internet of Value space, and kind of they're looking post-MiCA pretty much. So, whoa, what the fuck? You definitely could have turned right. You did not have to brake like that. Yeah, so LCX will probably be more driven by institutions and big players rather than just huge amounts of retail users using it. As for a VXV update, they've been doing some work looking at what they've done recently. They're doing more research and development with other academias, and they are also it seems like NASA's done their research, because if you guys remember a while back, I did talk about how NASA did delay their collaborations with VXV any further just because of crypto regulations at the time, especially after the whole Luna UST thing. They really were like, whoa, we've really got to slow down just a moment. Anyways, I am at my destination, so I will finish the rest of that story in just a moment. Hope you guys are enjoying this. Peace. Alright guys, we're on our last delivery of the day, and so I forgot we were talking about vector space AI. So yeah, NASA seems to have done their research, because they recently said they were going to delay any further work with vector space AI just because of kind of all the crypto lack of regulatory clarity and everything going on at the moment with the whole Luna BS that happened. So NASA kind of put that on pause, and since then, it seems like NASA has decided, like, okay, even though they operate in the crypto sphere, they seem pretty legit, because they've decided they are hosting a webinar together that's actually public for everyone to join, and I think it's right on their website if you'd like to check that out. So that's pretty exciting to see. And who knows how far they'll get working with NASA. I mean, Cation does have a pretty unique idea. And, they've also worked with King's College London and University College London too. So it's not like this is their first time working in kind of space biosciences and the research and development side of it. So it's really interesting to see the route vector space AI is taking. Like, it kind of fascinates me every time I research them. It's like, damn, every other network out there is talking either about in-depth tech or like finance, DeFi, so like fintech, or like metaverse, NFTs, play to earn gaming. What else is kind of like in the broad, or like layer 1 platforms and stuff. And it's always the same stuff over and over, and like there are cool variations of it, but like vector space AI is so different in the sense that they're making something in space biosciences. They are the first thing we've seen, like first project in crypto we've seen that is so heavily revolved around, well, space biosciences. And, well, just I want to say greater science in general. So that is really interesting to see, and that's also an area that I think with the Internet of Value and everything is a sector that could see a ton of value added in that respective industry. But yeah, so I am at my destination now, so I will be back in just a moment. Alright, peace. Alright, what's up, guys? It's actually the next day now from when we last recorded, because I did not hit the record button. So we are continuing off wherever we left off. I don't quite remember where we were. I want to say we were... the last thing I remember was talking about, I think, vector space biosciences and the progression on their team, but anyways, it is the next day now, and nothing too new happening in the markets today. Looks like we're getting a little wick upwards. Quant is once again pumping. I'm pretty sure it's the leader within the top 100 today. I think last time I checked it was up something like 10% on the day. Let's take a look now. Oh, it's up 12.38% at about $92. So yeah, Quant has been performing amazingly during this bear market, and it actually is dipping a bit right now, but Quant seems to have quite a it's shown time and time again to kind of show signs of decoupling from the market, because if you guys recall, during the whole Elon FUD crash, Quant held its own relatively well against most majors like Bitcoin and ETH. It went from, I think, something like $35 to $27, and while that's still a somewhat sharp drop, it's much better than what we saw in those 50% drops from Bitcoin. And shortly after the Elon FUD, while everything was still down and slowly kind of bleeding, Quant was making new all-time highs. It pumped to 50, then it pumped to 60, and then there was notice of Binance listing Quant, and Quant was slowly pumping up to 100. So yeah, there's been signs of Quant showing some times of decoupling, and then just more recently, so during the this was during November, but this was just one day, and it was over the course of literally like 30 minutes, if that. But I remember this very clearly because I was literally sitting in class, and Quant was at about, I think, $180 at the time. I think it was somewhere around 180 bucks, and it had pumped from 180 bucks to $350 right on the dot, all in the span of 1 hour. And you know, it was really insane to see that, and because the reason I remember that so clearly was that I remember getting that notification midway through class, and I was like, damn, I really would not mind taking some profits right now, because this pump does not seem sustainable. And so I couldn't do that, unfortunately, because my ledger was all the way back at home. So yeah, it was quite interesting to watch that pump though, because literally the market was just kind of chopping. It was in its kind of chopping around phase, and there is some speculation to that being potentially a pump due to utility purposes for during the testing phases. And you know, that is probably related to some CBDCs regarding certain countries. And my guess would be it'd be, well, either one of the BIS projects in either Helvetia or Europe, or it was maybe something between the Bank of Canada and Monetary Authority Singapore, because we do know those two have been in pretty close works for a while. And then, of course, most recently, we did also see quite a strong Quant pump over the past week. Quant pumped kind of from that $40 to $50 range all the way to like the $90 it's at right now. It's pretty insane. It's very strange how Quant kind of behaves in this market condition, and it really makes me think, like, damn, what is going, like, what's kind of going on behind the scenes? Like, is there just, it's almost as if it's accumulation stages, and the timing for these accumulations do not match the market whatsoever. Like, it's almost not a crypto. Well, it is a crypto asset, but it doesn't quite move like the rest of these crypto assets. And I get there are times where certain coins will decouple at times from the rest of the market, but Quant has done this on multiple occasions, and not during just random stagnating market times either, but I'm talking about after a big crash or something. And like, if we want to look at this the other way around, well, during the first half of 2021, when literally the rest of the market was pumping up like 10x, 20x, Quant was chopping around that $30, $40 stablecoin area. And it literally did not move from those ranges until post-Elon FUD. So it's really interesting how kind of the timing and how the timing for Quant's price action is. But anyways, I am actually just coming back from the gym. We got a nice little morning shoot around and then a little morning workout. So we are about to get home, and we're about to go home and get a little food in us. But I just wanted to give you guys, or kind of close this trip around the token economy off the right way, because as we said, I had completely forgot to hit the record button. That was about all we had for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Trips Around the Token Economy. We basically summarized and updated some of the projects we normally talk about, and then I gave you guys a further update on some of the content we've got coming out soon, and also just kind of where things are at the moment, how I'm seeing things, and where I think we'll be going. And of course, as usual, none of this was any form of financial or investment advice, but I hope you guys did enjoy this trip around the token economy, and I'll be talking with you guys real soon again. Alright, as usual, keep grinding and stay safe, everyone. I'll see y'all later. Peace.